Mr. Tinubu'S, welcome to the Nigerian Center. When we look at the statement that came from the Minister of Wars, I'm talking about the former governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, Senator David Umahi, who have accused the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, of inciting Southeasterners, the Igbos, against Tinubu'S government. Do you think this is correct?
Of course, that is what actually happened in the 18th century when we had a similar sentiment against the growing influence, of the Jews as at that time. That's from Frankfurt, Germany. I don't want to mention names at this point, but I want to make reference to what the former governor of Ebonyi State, now the Minister of Wars, is trying to say against Mr. President in waiting, Peter Obi, so to say, 2027, and that's the direction we are going. All these things we are seeing, against Obi, coming from the likes of Raymond Macri, Daniel Bois, Onanuga, and so many of them, that have streamlined their space in terms of statement, targeting Obi's growing influence across the 36 states of the federation is quite unfortunate. Let me give you an insight. Umahi, I think at this point in time, Ohaneze should step in and kind of send a signal, a warning signal to Umahi to be very cautious of what he's trying to say concerning David Umahi's statement, saying that Obi is inciting Igbos against the federal government. That is not true. I've never seen Obi, right from the time he hit the global limelight, under the platform of the Labour Party, making unnecessary statement or trying to craft a kind of propaganda against the government that be. Obi has not done that. What Obi is saying is very clear, even to the man on the streets. It's very clear. Obi is seeing some of these things they are doing, they carry out on daily basis, are just cosmetic or just elephant projects. And that is true. From my own perception, I'm not trying to defend Obi, but from my own perception, I still see this administration led by Tinubu, and of course, what Umahi is trying to do in terms of those kind of projects, the coastal road from Calabar to Lagos. Another one is already in a plan from Badagry to Sokoto. In honesty, do we actually need such projects when we have millions of roads that lead to south that are not very accessible? That's what Obi is talking about. Create atmosphere, open the roads for farmers so that we can be able to grow our domestic economy, grow our agriculture, grow our produce. They are not doing it. They are inviting up a project worth over 15 trillion. What is wrong with these people? That's what, how that kind of statement become a crime, where somebody like Umahi will now come and try to say that Obi is inciting Igbos against the federal government. But in the real sense, have they gone out of their mind? I don't want to use a derogatory statement on the former governor of Ebonyi State, over the kind of statement. It's uncalled for. And that's the truth. Why are they always everything about Nigeria now? Everything that has to do with bad image is being thrown at Obi. What has Obi actually done? That's the question. Obi has not even come out to criticize this government unnecessarily without having any concrete thing to say. Now, has the government not failed? We are building. Okay, look at the recent one now from Cairo. That will take over more than 9 countries from Egypt. That project runs for about $1.5 billion. But just from Lagos here to Calabar, they are talking about 15 trillion. And apart from that, too, those people who assets were affected or that were demolished. Obi is asking that there should be a kind of feasibility study so that the federal government can actually compensate them. How can somebody stand in a place and lose 278 billion in 6 hours?
Now let us look at the crux of the matter, because David Umahi have said that they already started paying compensation. He said they are even paying compensation for people who do not have official document or title of ownership of where they reside or perhaps where they are doing business. That is there's a word they use anyway. They're trying to say that is mercy. Of course, that you needed to have permission or right of stay for you to ask for compensation, but they are not looking at that. What they are doing look like a magnanimity, compensating everybody that has their property affected. Is that not good from the Minister of Works?
You might look at it for me, I think that is a political statement. If you go deeply, you still see some government factors being played out at the end of the day. He's just there saying it. No, go and do a thorough investigation on that matter. Chief Paul, the director of Landmark Group, that had one of the largest investments in Lekki, is still crying to today. How they are going to compensate him with 78 billion worth of property. How are they going to compensate him? He has not been compensated to today. And the property was demolished in 6 hours. It took that man over 6 years to establish that resort. Valued at 78 billion. So what are we talking about? Look at the ones they demolished. How many people did they compensate? They just come out and say this is as if they on a normal note. Do we supposed to be talking about that kind of elephant project? Of what benefit? If there's no ulterior motive behind it. And the ulterior motive that, okay, the one they are building from Badagry now to Sokoto, how are we going to connect that? How are we going to explain that? Those are elephant projects. That's what we're talking about. We have thousands of roads across the 36 states of the federation that need federal government attention. We have thousands of roads that lead to farm that are not even accessible.
But the question is, all those roads we are talking about, is it federal government road?
It doesn't mean there should be a way of doing these things. Then how do you talk about building a domestic economy? How do you let me tell you, there are state governors that also do so kind of project roads that are of economic value. Maybe later they have a way of returning it to the federal government. But this is not the issue, whether it belongs to the state or belongs. We are talking about how Nigerians. But if it is their own now, they know how to do it. If it is to loot national treasury, they don't say this one belongs to the state, this one belongs to local government, this one belongs to Nigeria, this one belongs to federal government. They will steal all the money. So those kind of things does not arise. We need a kind of understanding, among those people who find themselves in leadership position to be able to position things, accordingly. Prioritize things, give things preferences. Look at this road now, for Harvard now, they are building 15 trillion project. This is rubbish, and that is what Obi is talking about. Because also Atiku Abubakar also criticized that project. That they want to investigate, they want more transparency on that 15 trillion worth of project. It's uncalled for. And we are still talking about that one. They are opening another link. They are opening another link from Badagry to Sokoto.
We're not going to open up the economy.
What is wrong? What to open what? What we are talking about is that they always do those things. That is why at the end of the day you see that project collapse because there's no foundation. That is something they did on electricity, no light. They embark on a stupid project. At the end of the day, they cannot see the end of it. Why not concentrate on how to open up our domestic economy? Give us production. Let Nigerians be productive. Give us electricity. Look at how the whole thing looks as if there's no leader. I hope you listen to some of the workers during the May Day celebration. Shetima was there. The MLC chairman was there. The TUC chairman, Festus, was also there. You can see a lot of them there. You can see the kind of things they were saying. But in 2027, Nigerians should not vote out again. Openly, he was gave his address.
So how we go to the market?
How we continue to see Obi, Umahi, the Ohaneze Ndigbo should call, the governors should call Obi to order.
Let us handle that area. This is Nigerian Center.